Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be getting going in about 5 minutes from now, just for the benefit of our audience and our live stream. Ladies and gentlemen, if we can assemble in here, we'll start our presentation. Good morning. My name is John Dupont. I'm the chair of the board of directors here at the Music School of Delaware. I'm thrilled to have you all here on this lovely warm day. We do have some folks that have live streamed in, so to them I also extend a hearty welcome and thanks for you being able to join us virtually as well. We're here today to announce the largest gift in our almost 100-year history here at the Music School of Delaware of $10 million. And when I introduce our treasurer in a little bit, he'll go through a lot of the details of this. We are beyond thrilled, obviously, to receive this very kind bequest. I just want to take just a minute or two, if I could, to thank some people for all their work through this pandemic and even to this point today. We have some of the best faculty, period. When the pandemic struck, we literally had to reinvent all our ways of instruction to all our students, and our faculty did that very adeptly and very willingly, and we're thrilled that they did. Also, huge kudos to our CEO, Kate Ransom, who's with us. Kate made a decision right from the get-go that we were going to go full steam ahead, and we were going to continue to offer instruction no matter what. And we did it, and as we progressed through the pandemic, I want to also thank both our partners in the federal government and the state for the various grants that kept us going. The PPP loans, the EIDL loans, the state grants, all of these made a big difference and kept us going, and we couldn't have done it without that. We're very, very grateful to that, and very, very happy to have those. To our staff and students that were adapting to this new modality, we thank them as well. If you've ever been here on a Saturday, you know what parents look like when they wait for their children to go through instruction. It's a very busy day here at the school. So thank them as well. I also have the pleasure to work with a very, very good board. They were very helpful as we worked through the many challenges through COVID and beyond, and I'm thrilled to be able to work with them. Also, our Centennial Council members, these are our folks that are significant contributors here to the music school. We're very thankful to them as well. I'd also like to extend a thanks to our special guest elected officials and the media that are here today. We're very grateful that you showed up for this important announcement. Thank you for your time and your interest today. We're very grateful. And let me take just a minute to try to do a hopefully okay job at the history of this gift. Back in, I believe, in 2013, Mary Ellen Northrop was a lady that contacted our former development director and had expressed an interest to know more about the school. And through various contacts over the phone, email, etc., had said that she'd like to do something for the school. We weren't sure what. Sadly, we never got to meet with her in person until she passed. But we continued to stay in touch with her, and Kate took over that process for many, many, many years. Sadly, the other year, we heard that through her executor that she had passed, and we had thought, well, you know, there's maybe a bequest coming, maybe we'll get $1,000 or two. And then he told us what the bequest was, and to say it was amazing is a huge understatement. We were stunned. And pleased, obviously. It was and is the largest bequest that has ever been given to the music school. And we are so incredibly grateful. This is a life-changing event that will help a lot of people here attend the Music School of Delaware. So with that, I want to pass that along. I'm going to introduce Larry Hamermesh, our treasurer, and he can talk about the actual details of this grant. Larry?
Thank you, John, and thank you everybody for being here. As John said, this $10 million gift is transformative for this institution, and they left it to the lawyer to tell you about the details. So Mary Ellen Northrop gave this bequest in a trust that she set up, which kicked into gear after she died. We received notice of this gift in the fall, I think it was, and we've been trying to come to grips with it because it's laid out in a very detailed instrument, trust instrument, that defines what this $10 million is supposed to do. First of all, it's supposed to last in perpetuity, which is lawyer speak for forever. It's supposed to be generating income, which will be applied to scholarships. So let me talk about the scholarships and talk about who's eligible for them. The scholarships are for students from preschool to grade 12, eligible to be applied to tuition, instrument purchase or rental, for all instrument and voice lessons, except for guitar. Her bequest, the trust, specifically excludes guitar instruction. We'll have to find a way to fill that gap, but we'll do it. It also applies to playing in ensembles like the Delaware Symphony Youth Orchestra, other musicianship classes and training at the music school or through the music school. And the scholarships it provides are up to a maximum of $5,000 per year in the first year in which the grant occurs. It also authorizes a grant for a second year of 50% of cost up to $5,000. And then that's it. It essentially provides for 2 years' worth of scholarships. And I'll come back to that point in just a minute when I talk about the impact of this gift. Eligibility, as I said, is for students from preschool through grade 12, public, private, parochial school students. Interestingly, the bequest specifically excludes charter school students, another gap that will require attention. It also is targeted to those less able to afford music education. It's limited to students from families with a family income of less than $150,000. Hardly poverty level, but it is an income limitation. And so what we're going to be doing over the next several months is engaging in outreach, encouraging people to apply for these scholarships, and the hope is that there'll be enough of a return on the $10 million fund, which we actually expect to receive either yesterday or today. There'll be enough of a return to fund scholarships beginning this fall. That's the goal. The impact on the school, I think you can probably already figure out. $10 million, even just the income on that, which is what we can spend on scholarships, is a very large sum in any given year. I've done a back-of-the-envelope calculation. We're looking at maybe 80 or more scholarships per year. And that's a lot of new students. It's very exciting to be able to extend the reach of music education in ways that we haven't been close to being able to do before. We've had a scholarship program. We've done some of this, but it enables the school to do so much more in this area. On the other hand, as I think you gathered, there are challenges. What do we do with students after the first 2 years of their scholarships? Are they supposed to quit for lack of funding? We hope not. The challenge is going to be finding ways to teach those guitar students, to teach those charter school students, and to teach students after their second year of music education. So we still have a lot of work to do. But I ain't looking a gift horse in the mouth, and this is a very big horse. So we're extremely excited to be able to see how this can extend the reach of music education in the state of Delaware and perhaps even beyond. So that's the basic outline of this program. John, I'm not sure if we're supposed to throw it open to questions or to others, but no, probably not yet, right? Yeah. So, speakers, right. So I'm going to turn it over to, sorry, I got to look at my notes here. I'll be happy to take a prompt. It looks like First Lady Tracy Pullen-Carney. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry and John. To all the board, faculty, and staff, especially Kate Ransom for including me in your plans today. Lieutenant Governor, Mr. Meyer, the very talented, ever multitasking Tina Betts. It's always a privilege to be on any program with you. Thanks to all for being here in person and virtually. We know from science as well as from experience that music is good for humans, and especially for kids. Musical experience experiences advanced brain development, improve academic performance, and in our youngest children, support all the school readiness work we want to do, developing foundational intellectual, social, emotional, motor, and language skills, merging discipline and creativity. I'm especially appreciative of the early childhood program here at the music school because both of our sons are alumni. And my mom and I got a lot out of it too as their allegedly adult partners. Our love of music, along with all the developmental benefits, is a legacy we wanted to pass on. And the Music School of Delaware had earned our trust. With any legacy, its principal value lies in the opportunities it creates. So I join you in profound gratitude for the legacy that Mary Ellen Northrop leaves for Delaware's children, and they are all our children, and for the trust that the music school has earned and upheld for going on 100 years, the opportunity for children to learn and to grow, to explore and express who they are, to develop toward their fullest potential, to be part of a community of deep connections even across generations, and to know the joy of music. And with that, I'd like to introduce my frequent partner in crime, but I always say it's crime on the side of the angels, Lieutenant Governor Bethany Hall-Long.
Well, good morning. Thank you, First Lady. It is truly a pleasure to be with you, and I don't know of anyone more committed to our children than our First Lady and the work that you're doing in trauma-informed care in our state. Thank you so much. And it is an honor to be here, gathered with my legislative colleagues, many here, our city council members, our mayor, our county exec, but most importantly, with families, board members, those virtually listening in, and to the children. And I want to say thank you not only to John and Troy and Larry and Kate for bringing us together today and showing in COVID compliance, in our mask, being vaccinated and safe, that we are moving forward and we have so much to celebrate in common. I know as I look to the mayor and others who have our fine city here in the north area of our state, that we know the impact of almost 100 years of this Delaware Music School, how important it has been. And to Ms. Bull, who's here representing Delaware's Division of Arts, it is a uniter. It is a cultural unity that we receive when we have music and education that come together and merge. There is no difference. It is a common denominator. It crosses all languages and the rhythm, and it really uplifts us. And someone who was raised on a farm in Sussex in a faith community like Mary Ellen Northrop, who went to church, who learned to play the clarinet, who sang in Faith Presbyterian and here in the Baptist Church in Wilmington, it has inspired me and my faculty who taught me piano and trumpet and to be a drum major had training themselves through the Music School of Delaware. I wasn't a direct recipient as a student, but indirect. And so you have empowered so many of us to be able to experience the benefits of music. And as we think about Mary Ellen Northrop, her kindness and her generosity, to be able to say to students, no matter your zip code, the background, we're going to give you that first year of education. And as our First Lady so eloquently mentioned, and I think all of us who are probably speaking today, and those who aren't able to speak from the legislature and city council, would say to you that it is so important that each child have this opportunity in this state because it is the basis foundation for brain development, the educational opportunity. And I want to also bring forth, I think it's a very timely and appropriate moment, as a woman of Mary Ellen Northrop's stance, coming from being a librarian in Iowa and at Rutgers and then working here at Dupont as a financial analyst. She saw the benefit in others. And I think as we face COVID, we see that benefit, and something many of you maybe haven't thought about. But I turn often to, as a nurse and a research scientist at the university, to music therapy. And we are using that today in our nursing homes with our beloved patients, whether they're with COVID or not, in our hospital rooms. Music is a uniter. And across this globe, as we face challenges, the Music School of Delaware and the platform that you're doing with the Mary Ellen Northrop Foundation will be an incredible tool to help us remain united and uplifted during these struggles in this period of time of COVID. And so I am so delighted and honored. I wouldn't miss it. To be here, and I just want to say the Delaware Division of Arts, our state, our community, all the legislators who are here, and those who aren't able to make it are fully behind you, and we will ensure that you will have plenty of students to fill those 80 scholarships, and we are committed, I know, in the state to make sure those in the second year out and the charter schools and the others also have opportunity. So thank you again. It's a pleasure to be here. I now get the opportunity to introduce one of the hardest working mayors in our country, who is well respected, who needs no major introduction in the community in the city of Wilmington, but someone who I know through the years has championed making our state and our community, and particularly the city, stronger. And he's like telling me to move it along to Mayor Przicki. He's still got that athletic gist to you. You got that football move there.
Excuse me. I just can't get over, I can't get out of my face my thoughts here, Larry and John and Kate. The first time you heard that number, I mean, right? I mean, that's a big number anywhere. I was thinking the last time I heard $10 million, the university got $10 million and named the entire Whitney Athletic Center after the folks who gave that kind of money. So that's really fantastic. I really, I thought more coming up here that I wanted to just express our gratitude to all of you for the great work you do for our kids, and of course to congratulate you for this great opportunity. I find myself saying often, thinking about our kids. And when I say our kids, I look at all the folks who represent the city here, and we personalize these children as being ours. And you know, my sense about what we have to do to help our children is give them something that helps them to define themselves in a positive way. And too many of our kids don't have that. They simply don't have any self-definition that's healthy, and they wind up getting dragged into places that define them in the worst way. And my point is always, it doesn't matter what we get our kids to do. It doesn't matter. They can play chess, they can, you know, they can play the violin. I always pick out at the violin. They can learn to be good students. They can learn to be painters. It doesn't matter. It's just something that helps them to define themselves and go home at the end of the day just feeling good about being productive, worthy individuals. And so when I see what you do for our kids, I have to tell you I'm deeply moved, because I know there are kids you are rescuing from that abyss where there is nothing good in their lives to something that's so rich, it's hard to express how lucky these kids are to find that kind of depth and wonder in their lives. So let me just reiterate my congratulations to you all, but more importantly, my gratitude for what you do for our children. Thank you. I have to introduce my friend, Matt Meyer, who is likely, this is an ongoing joke. Every time I introduce Matt, if we speak to a Spanish group, he comes up and he speaks Spanish. We talk to a Muslim group, he comes out and says about his experience in the Middle East. So now I'm certain he's going to get up and talk about the Stradivarius that he owns. Matt Meyer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wore a tie just for you. I heard you were going to be here, so I put a tie on. It's good to see everyone this morning. I imagine this auditorium filled to the brim, standing room only during a different time. And I want to recognize, while the First Lady is here, that if I was in Florida or Texas, to be frank, or many other states around the country, I would not come to an in-person event like this. But many of us in here, but no one more than the governor and the First Lady, have made tremendous sacrifices in the past year plus, nearly 2 years, early morning, late nights, to keep all of us safe so that we could hold events like this. And I just wanted to recognize you, Ms. Carney, and your husband for your tremendous work. I have to admit, looking at Marty Lastman, my middle school band teacher, who's a teacher here at the music school, and as an alum of the music school, I get very nervous coming on this stage. My staff made it very clear to me I did not need to bring my clarinet today, so I'm not going to play for you, but my knees do quiver just standing up here thinking of those days. But as someone who really was a beneficiary personally of this school, of the tremendous generosity and tremendous excellence of so many teachers here, most of whom obviously I do not know, of the staff, of the development staff, even the lawyers, Larry, who work hard giving of their time and effort. I just want to say thank you. There are likely thousands of us across our community who've benefited in so many different ways from the work of the Wilmington Music School and now the Music School of Delaware. So I want to say thank you for that, but I also come here as a teacher. I taught down the street at Prestige Academy before running for office, and just when I was coming here this morning, I was thinking of a student of mine named Terrence, and Terrence was one of our more challenging students. I taught him in 5th grade, and there was a lot of concern that Terrence was not paying attention in class, was not excelling the way he needed to in our classroom. And there was concern about his future. Where was he going? How could we provide him the skills? We didn't have a music program. We didn't have an extensive music program at the school where I taught. And Terrence latched on to a drumline program at the Walnut Street YMCA. And he now is, I think he's probably about 20, 21, and he heads that drumline program. You learn as a teacher, as many parents know, that if you tell kids don't, they usually do. But if you give kids an alternative and tell them to do the alternative, they'll often check it out. And for so many kids, the kind of kids that I know the mayor and so many of us care about so deeply and love so deeply and want to assist and support so deeply, giving them an alternative is often the key to a brighter future. So there are Clifford Browns out there in our community today whose talent would never be realized without a gift like the one we're celebrating today. Anybody see Alexander Hamilton, the musical Hamilton? I went up to Philly 2.5 months ago during a brief window, I think, when we could do things like that, and saw Hamilton. And in the death scene, sorry for if I'm spoiler alert, Hamilton says, legacy is planting seeds in a garden that you will never see. And I feel like that's what we're doing today. $10 million, as I think the governor and the president would say, is a really, really big deal. And 80 students a year is a really, really big deal. It's a big deal for this institution, but it's a big deal for 80 families a year, and possibly more, depending on those returns, Larry, in our community. And we're planting seeds, the fruits of which we in this room likely will never see. So I want to thank you all so much for coming, and thank the music school for its continued community leadership. I have the honor of introducing someone who probably as much as anyone has really led the way in the arts in our community for decades, not just making sure that the arts are available to kids like me when I was in school, but also making sure they're available to everyone, regardless of income, regardless of skin color, gender, things of that sort. So without further ado, Tina Betts.
Well, good morning. $10 million is an absolutely $10 million big deal. Before I get into the task that was given to me today, I'd just like to tell a little bit of a personal story that some of you here might have heard before. I'm a new board member, a retread, but a new board member beginning this month for the Music School of Delaware. But my relationship with the music school began 60 years ago when, as a little girl, growing up on the west side of Wilmington on the hilltop, a little street called Delmore Place, I was given the opportunity to play the viola. A viola was handed to me when I was 8 years old, attending Lower School. And then a couple of years later, I found out that I could come to this place that was a little bit on the other side of the tracks from where I lived, called the Wilmington Music School. Now, at the time, I had no idea, that it cost money, how it was getting paid for. I only know that I had this opportunity to come. In order to get here, when my mom's car wasn't available because either she or my dad was working or we didn't have any gas, I don't know what the deal was, I had to take 2 buses to get here. And that was back in the day when, a 10-year-old, we would get on a bus to come down to downtown Wilmington to go to Wilmington Dry Goods or wherever it was we were going. So I would take the number 4 bus from the west side of Wilmington to downtown, where I transferred to the number 11 bus that would bring me over to the Wilmington Music School on a Saturday morning. I would take music theory here, playing a little string quartet, nothing like your string quartet, okay, but we did the best we could. So that's how I spent my Saturday mornings, many of my Saturday mornings growing up. And although, as I said, I don't know how it got paid for, somebody, like a Mrs. Mary Ellen Northrup, made it possible for a little girl like me, from a little street called Delmore Place, to come over and take these lessons. And 60 years later, when I go to bed at night, I'm listening to music, either in my head or studying music because I still sing. Music drives my life. And I know that the reason for that is because of the foundation that was laid here, right off of Lee Boulevard, Washington Street Extension, on the other side of town from where I lived. So this opportunity for many young kids, to have music nestle in their brains and do the thing that only music can do for people is such a big deal. And it is made possible by big gifts from folks like Ms. Northrup, but it's also made possible by some of the people, all of the people, I'm going to acknowledge who are here today. In addition to the folks that you have already heard from, all of whom, by the way, have been extremely supportive of the arts here in our city and in our state. We also have J.J. Francis, who is from Senator Coon's office. Is J.J., where's J.J.? There? Thank you. And congratulations to Jessica Ball, who is the new director for the Delaware Division of the Arts. The Delaware Division of the Arts is critical, is so important. And Jessica, where are you, Jessica? Okay, there you go. I'm sorry, with the mask on, it's very difficult to see who people are. Congratulations, Jessica, on your new position. We also have Senator Darius Brown. Darius, there he is in the front row. Thank you. Darius was very supportive of many things that we do here in the city of Wilmington. And we have Representative Kendra Johnson, right there. And Representative Michael Ramone. Our City Council President, Trippy Congo. Councilwoman Maria Cabrera. Where's Maria? Right there. Okay, did I miss anybody besides, I know Councilwoman Fields, I haven't mentioned you yet because we're taking you last. Anybody that I miss? Okay, so thank you very, very much for being here to support this this wonderful opportunity for our kids. And Council Member Brigetta Fields has a proclamation from City Council.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the invite. I really appreciate it. I have to tell a little story about music. I learned how to play the piano and the violin and the flute. My mom made sure I played an instrument. I learned how to play the violin in public school. And I was in middle school, and that was the best thing, to get out of class, to go to an assembly, to go play your instrument. And then I learned how to play the piano at Hicks. It was west of the city at the time, but we had a piano instructor, Mr. Hall, and he taught me piano lessons. And the thing about it is we had to have a concert, and I was just like so embarrassed because I was like, all my friends that played at the park, they didn't have to play the piano, but I did. And I had on this big pink dress, and my mom made me wear these patent leather shoes, but at the end of the day, I felt like I did something that the other kids didn't do, you know? So I think that, you know, teaching our kids and letting them explore instruments and just giving them the outlet to do that, I think is very important. And I just really want to say thank you so much for the scholarships that you're going to be giving to these families that need them. So I'm going to read a resolution from City Council. The sponsors: Council President Ernest Trippy Congo II, and Council members Linda M. Gray, Shanae Darby, Xanthia Oliver, Michelle Harley, Brigida Fields, Yolanda McCoy, Christopher C. Johnson, Nathan Phil, Maria Cabrera, James Spadola, and Loretta Walsh. Whereas Council Member A. Brigida Fields and Wilmington City Council wishes to recognize and honor the Delaware School of Music for nearly 100 years of serving Delaware, and more specifically, the Wilmington community. The Delaware School of Music has been the primary local community resource for anyone who deserves to experience music by bringing more music to more people in more places. And whereas the Delaware School of Music has maintained an impactful presence throughout the state of Delaware and the regions beyond, serving individuals across the country and the globe, including California, Texas, Florida, Canada, Norway, and Africa. It is no secret that the Delaware School of Music operates in excellence and uniqueness as they assist individuals in finding inspiration and joy in creating music. And whereas the Delaware School of Music has touched the lives of many, including Mary Ellen Northrop, who shared a deep love for music, Miss Northrop participated in many local music programs, playing the clarinet and singing in the church choir. Whereas Miss Northrop was called home to her final resting place on June 29, 2021, because of her deep passion and love for music, Miss Northrop had included the Delaware School of Music as on the beneficiaries of her trust fund that will assist in providing scholarships to qualified students, along with complementing the school current financial program, which is established to help families in need. And whereas the $10 million gift for Miss Northrop will establish the Mary Ellen Northrop Endowed Fund for Music Education, being the largest gift since the school founded in 1924, the Delaware Music School will now be able to expand its audience to a greater capacity, reaching more individuals across the world who declare to find their niche in the sphere of music. Now, therefore, be resolved by the Council of the City of Wilmington that this council is pleased to commend the Delaware School of Music for the outstanding commitment and dedication of service that they provide to the local community through devotion, assurance, and confidence in their organization and within their musical family. We salute Ms. Mary Ellen Northrop with gratitude for her generosity and willingness to assure that the Delaware School of Music continues to touch the lives of many young musicians in Delaware and around the world. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much for that, that kind. All right. So, folks, I was listening to all of our speakers talk, and we are very, very fortunate as we approach our 100th anniversary in a few years to reflect back, and it was so heartening to hear a lot of people talk about, well, when I was a child, I was here, or I knew somebody that was here, or what was then the Wilmington Music School. And we have a long and very, very rich history. We have some wonderful and enviable work to do in attracting some new scholarship students. We'll certainly enlist everybody's help here in the room. We appreciate everybody with their offers. I appreciate the short conversation, sadly short, that I had with a few individuals this morning. And we really appreciate your support. We have a lot of work to do this year with that. We also have a lot of work to do going forward as we approach our centennial. We have a few items that need a little bit of polishing, so we will be working on them as well. But I want to thank everybody here for attending. We are beyond excited, obviously, to offer this opportunity here to our community, and we will proceed forward with the diligence that we have been working throughout. So thank you very much for everybody attending today. I believe there'll be a Q&A after this, I believe, so we will be here for a little bit if anybody has any specific questions. Thank you very, very much.